Hey folks, and welcome to the Pipnotic Symposium for the 28th of February 2019. I'm just sitting here at home. The internet's not working, so I'll have to go back to the green school here shortly to upload. But I've got the fan spinning up above. It's a beautiful clear day. The sun is shining, the jungle is thick and green, and things are pretty darn good. We're very blessed to be here and very grateful for being able to live here in Bali. Everything's good here. We have my parents-in-law arriving from Denmark on Saturday, so in a couple of days, which would be amazing. You know how the jokes always go about the in-laws, the mother or the father-in-law, but I must say I'm very, very lucky in that regard. I have a mother and father-in-law who are pretty amazing people, so they're always a pleasure to be with. So we look forward to showing off Bali and doing some nice trips up to the mountains and maybe to the north coast and the central parts of Bali, which is very thick jungle and rather mountainous. That'll be lovely. They're going to be here for 10 days, I think. So the kids are off from school for almost the entire time. So it'll be nice. We look forward to that little break. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the beginning of the buy zones and the sell zones. I've had a couple of people ask about what I mean by this and how you can spot this, so we're just going to reiterate this. I'll try and do it in a different way, just to help kind of variate my explanation, and I'm hoping that this will make better sense by the time we're done. Okay, so what I like to do is when I'm kind of scanning pairs in the morning, or whenever it is I sit down to do my analysis, I'll have a look like this, and the first thing, this is a really good pair to look at, so we'll use this as the example. So the first thing I'm looking at is I'm looking for the kind of the origin of the move. I want to know what's driving price, okay, because this is going to give me my directional bias. So we'll go to the bigger time frame, I'll find that, and then I'll be able to look and identify nested areas of supply and demand. But what I like to do, if we focus on one chart only, you can also do this. What you need to do is you need to zoom out. You need to know what direction price is going. And if you look at this Aussie American dollar chart, I mean, this has been going down for some time. We had kind of wrong line. We had market structure failure, which is very clear here. So we had a trend line that broke here, and now we are kind of moving sideways. You see, we have higher highs and lower lows. So this is kind of a confused market, but we seem to be taking a break from this downward trend for the time being. We reached these lows down here. If we scroll back and have a look and see what they were reacting on, let's do that. Go back and we can see what price is reacting on. I don't have enough data on my broker, which is a pain. If we go to daily chart, then you can see here. It's having a look at this, okay? And so when you look at this, you might think, wow, that was why did price stop there? Okay, if we go all the way back here, this is the lowest low since what we saw historically. Price went down to that level and then it left. Then you ask yourself, well, why on earth would it go and why would it stop there? It doesn't make sense, because there's no demand down here. And let's have a look. This is really, really important. Okay, if you look at this, I mean, this is an all-time low. Well, this is a very important low. We have a low, we have a higher low here, and then price left. But notice the area of demand that price left from is here. This is fresh and untested. This is absolutely a place where we can expect price to nestle and find some buying. And notice that when price left here, it pulled back and then it left. Okay. And so I spoke about this many times in the past, and this is, you have to identify the edge of a buy zone or a sell zone. In this case we're buying, so we're looking for the edge of the buy zone, and it requires that you find kind of the leg that this whole move is standing on, and you slowly but surely move back. And so when I say move back, I mean this. So you mark off the low here. When this has been moved through, then you move it lower, and you can see our price kept going. We went down all the way here, we're down all the way here, And these little pullbacks all the time, they're not random pullbacks, they're pretty important ones. If we look at this one, actually let's pick one that's higher, we need like a good swing. Let's choose this one here. This is like a nice bounce. Let's have a look at what this looks like over here. Same thing. So price, we have an area of demand here. Price went up, we came down, we accumulated, we shot up, we pulled back the slingshot, and then we left. This price didn't even reach. I would have probably missed this trade. I would have had it marked off at the low here, plus a spread, so maybe a pip further north, so I'd have probably missed this one. But this whole move is standing on, here we have kind of like an important low. On the bigger time frame, this is going to be like a pullback, accumulation, and a rally. And this, when price left, it kind of, you see the slingshot was pulled back and then it released. So this is the edge of the buy zone. This is a demand, this is the beginning of the buy zone. This is the aggressive entry to buy, and this is the more conservative entry to buy. So if you look over here, you can see, wow, our price just bounced on it, and then it just cut straight through it. That's because price came back to the level here, as we saw to the left. It sat on it. We did not leave, we accumulated. What are we doing? We're accumulating orders to do what? To drive price lower. So if price moves down to a level, and let's say you have an entry like this and price is stuck in the area, sticking to the area, time to get out of the trade. Close the trade prematurely for a break even or a small loss, because when price comes down to a level and sits on it, that makes me nervous if I'm trading contrary to this move down. So if I'm looking to buy here and price is coming down to the area of demand and sitting there, I'd get out of the trade, because you would expect price to move away. Because why? Well, this is because when price, we have a level here, when price moves down to an area, we want to see big rejection. Okay, we want price to leave pretty quickly, because if you don't get that, if price manages to move down like this and sit on the area, what does that mean? That means that this is a balance of supply and demand, not an imbalance. This is balance, this is imbalance, this is good, this is not good. So this is the one you want to look for. You want to see quick releases. Okay, this is super important. And so hoping that this is going to work out is not going to put any money in your account. It's only going to do the opposite. So you have to pay attention to what happens when price moves to your entries. Okay, this is super important. Okay, so let's move over to kind of bleeding edge price and go back to the 4-hour chart, because this is really clean. So what I like to do is I like to find like the origin of a move. And so this move here, if we look at from this high to the low, the all-time low since this high, the origin, so you look to the origin move, which is up here, and we want to see a really nice strong release, which is just here. Can you see? Price came up, we went up, we moved sideways, and we cut away. So the beginning of the sell zone is here. Okay, when price went out there before, we had a very nice rejection, and price left. This is the supply, this is the beginning of the sell zone. So there was already people getting in to short up here, and now price is wriggling sideways. You can see how price is slowly wriggling higher, and so this would be the beginning of the sell zone here. For the buy zone, well, if you look at the origin of this move, so we have, this is kind of the lowest area of demand since this, all of this, let me draw it for you. This whole price structure here is standing on this little push. Okay, so you need to look for the push. This structure here is hanging by this here. Okay, this is super important. This whole thing here is hanging on this. So this is where you need to focus. This is the origin of this. This is the origin of this. And this is the origin of this. Okay, so beginning of the sell zone. If you want to buy, are we buying here? No. We're buying here? No, 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 no. Yes, this is the beginning of the buy zone. Last time price came here, we had a bounce. This is demand directly below price, so this is where we would start to buy. So we will start to buy at the 70, small text, 70, 50-ish area. Let's just move down there. The 70, 50-ish area is where we want to look to start to sell. We have this up here, and you can see when you identify this area, so this is a really nice cutaway at the beginning of the sell zone. You identify the area, this is where the checklist comes in. Okay, has price been back to this area before? Has price been back to these levels before? It has. Where? Here and here. And the area that it was reacting on is this one here. So this is actually the area the price was reacting on. So is this supply? No, it's not. It's a reaction to supply. This is the supply just here. So what does that tell us? Well, that tells us that this is the beginning of the sell zone. Where's the supply? The supply is up here. Then you have to do the same thing over to make sure that we're making good decisions. So you have a look at this, and you would do the same thing over. So this is the beginning of the sell zone. This is a really nice area just up here. I mean, price, we moved up, we gapped up, we accumulated on the daily. This would probably look a little bit clearer. Yeah, you can see we gapped up, we accumulated, and then we left very quickly. Okay, this is a really nice sell. So this is the origin. This is the origin of this. When I say origin, I mean a really strong move away from an area of supply. So this is interesting to us. Knowing that, let me remove some of these things here. This is an origin here. This is the beginning of the sell zone. So you want to start to look to sell once price moves above these highs here. Okay, and we already looked at this one here, and this is the beginning of the buy zone. So when price comes back down here, we have that 4-hour area in here that is interesting to us. But up here we have to look up here, and then on this time frame, you can, even on the daily chart, you can see what's going on the smaller time frames. Okay, so you have a look in here and you say, okay, well, I want to see those micro pullbacks. So here we have the major, the very clear pullback. We want to see micro pullbacks. So you find the candle that's left the area. These are typically lime green, and you move the line up to the highest high of that, because this is essentially what's happening. Price will move down to an area, it'll leave, it'll come back up, test, we're pulling the slingshot up, and then it'll leave lower like so. So this is the beginning of the sell zone here, okay, which is going to be typically associated with this area of supply here. This is what we're seeing here, but on a kind of a micro level. If we mark this off and then we go to the smaller time frames, let's go to the 4-hour, and we'll have a look at it. You can see that, I mean, this is pretty clearly what we're seeing here. You can see that price formed this high, we left, we pulled back the slingshot, and then we moved away. We have a pretty decent move away. This is not that good of an area because, I mean, if you look at this, when price left, it kind of came back. We didn't do like one of these, how price really moved away. We kind of messed around in the area. What does that mean? Well, that means that I would probably be looking higher. You want to see serious pushes. You want to see some muscle flexing, shirt tearing strength, and we're not seeing that here at all. Okay, so what do? You move back. And so, I mean, this is more like it. You can see that we have something up here. So, let's see if I can get those bars drawn. Super. You can see that here's the candle that left. You can see that price, we came up. See, the price is trading through this area here, like so. So we're moving sideways, like that. So price is moving sideways, and then price all of a sudden moves lower and away. So price left from this area here. So this is interesting to us. Previously, price went here. More recently, price moved a little bit deeper to these lows, and now we have this area here. So here you would go, okay, well, what do we have? I mean, where are these micro swings? Well, you can see that we can't really see anything, but this is a nice full body candle, a good push. So you probably want to look at the high here. Okay, so we've done that. Now we say, has price been back to this area before? Well, it's debatable, but I think you could say yes. Here, 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 and here. This little pullback here. Okay, can you see this? I mean, price has already kind of been moving, trading in a range at around this area here historically. So that would make me a little bit nervous about selling here. I'm sure your price will very likely have a bounce here, but for these major turning points, we're going to want to see much clearer high quality supply for price to do that. And so price will probably kind of react to these highs here, here and here, move up into here, and probably begin to look to the highs of here, which is essentially the beginning of the sell zone. So we have this area here, this sideways channel, and price broke away. The origin of the breakaway is here, okay, and price tested the lows of this historically before continuing lower. So we're probably going to have some reaction up in here at the, let's have a look, 74.20-ish area. But I don't like the fact that price has been moving sideways here for a long period of time, so I probably want to look a little bit further. And now we have this here. This is more interesting because price came down from above, we moved sideways, then we cut away. So this is a pretty interesting area. The indicator found it nicely for us. Let's zoom out, see if we can find some even nicer areas. See, this is probably the one that I think looks pretty interesting to me. So I'd probably look to sell up and around here. That said, I mean, this is probably going to give us some kind of reaction. This one is probably going to give us a reaction, and so is this one down here. So, I mean, I'm just looking for the longer term moves. And you also have to consider, I mean, how far prices move. If we talk about again, okay, we do like this. So this is like 99% chance that we're going to get a bounce. Actually, 99. Let's say 90% chance we're going to have a bounce, which is really high. This is pretty much a 0% chance that price is going to bounce. We'll say 1%, just so there is a chance. Okay. So if you're looking to sell down here, rather than any of this stuff down here, I mean, there's a very, very low chance of this trade working out. Here we're at 50%, 50-50, and the more you move above this area, the higher the likelihood that we're going to have a bounce. And this is probably around, I don't know, maybe 60, 70%. Okay, so this is a pretty decent area, and the higher you go, the better. And notice that since this major high here had a pullback, we've had a pullback. This is showing us the edge of the sell zone, edge of the sell zone, edge of the sell zone. And so until price kind of comes back up here and tests this one, and this one, and this one, these are all like kind of little pockets, little pools of liquidity here. So they're going to be bounces here. When this is tested, price is going to go deeper and deeper and deeper until we reach the origin of this whole move down like so. Okay, so try and focus in the top half of these major swings, because this is where you're going to get the really nice turning points. We're on the daily chart, but the same applies for the 15-minute or whatever else you like to look at. Okay, let's have a look at another one, the pound American dollar. So if you look at this, I mean, this is a very clearly like a sideways chart. If you look, I mean, there's, get rid of those bars there. So if you look at this, I mean, you can see that, I mean, when I look at this, I mean, okay, what is price hanging on? It's hanging on this. So this here, this is the origin of this move, just here. So what I do immediately is I say, okay, where has price retraced to? So I'm just going to like do this. We'll go for the highs here. Has price been back to this level? Yes. Here, has it been back to this level? Yes. Yes. Keep going. Mess. Yes, 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 yes. So here, this is where we start to see some good stuff. This is a nice area. Okay, right here. I like this one. This was a nice area. Price has not been back to this area. If we just wriggle up there and have a look. Okay, let's have a look at this one here. You can see on this time frame, it's not very clear. It's a little bit messy, as you can see. So I wouldn't be interested in that. If you look at this way here, this is not very interesting because there's a lot of trading in here. And on the small time frames, you're going to see these huge ranges, kind of downward sloping ranges here, which are liquidity consumers. This is not nice, not clear. So keep moving higher. Keep moving higher. You can hear, you can see move up to here. You can see just above this mess, because this is consuming liquidity. And then here we have something that looks pretty interesting. Okay, this is pretty close to the origin of the entire move. So you have this, which I'm not too keen about. Why? Well, because price came to this level here and here. But what we do have, we have this little area right here. I like this one very much. This is a really nice area. Okay, and this is really close to the origin. So I think that when price manages to wriggle back up here, like that we the reason I think this is interesting is because, let me zoom out. I mean, this is higher than here, and price, there's probably some major divergence if you look at that. And if you have a look at this, you can see that, I mean, price, it traded kind of up and through any of these kind of price levels here. It didn't really seem to care. Traded pretty efficiently, meaning that price had a rally, and we returned to the accumulation. We moved back to this area of supply. You see it's moving very deeply, these deep, nice and deep swings. And price reached these highs, and all of a sudden we have these big green candles, which is telling us that, wow, selling, boom, 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 boom. And so this looks really nice. Probably going to get some reactions here. On a smaller time frame, you'll find these micro patterns in here. Let's see if we can have a look at those. Nope, I have no internet. I have no access to these on the smaller time frames. But this is the beginning of the sell zone here. We do have this, and we have this other area just above. So I would be keen to start selling here with a stop above the area, something like this. Okay, this would be an interesting area here, and I simply like the way that price managed to move up into this area slowly, kind of relatively efficient trading. We moved up here, we have some white candles. Price was in the area for a short period of time. We had a green candle, 3 accumulation candles, and then boom, juke, boom, and then price continuing, and then doo. So this is like some downward sloping, some like stairs that are going lower. Our price is dumped away here, and here you can see the selling started to kind of wean off a little bit. This is kind of like it's just like normal distribution of liquidity here, pretty equal balance between supply and demand. The advantage, of course, in the supply is prices drifting lower. We have introduction of selling here more, and then price manages to find this base. But you can see here the price is slowing down. We're not seeing anything cut away like this, like really green pushes lower, like price moves higher, boom, boom, boom. You know, you're seeing here a little bit messy. I don't like this one. Price cuts away, and then we have another one here, and then price kind of just drifts sideways from there, slowly moving lower. And now we have this push higher. So what's going on? Well, I mean, we have this area here. This is nice because price kind of like moved around this area before. We moved up into it, we rallied, accumulated, and then dumped. Last time price moved up to this area, we managed to see a bit of a fall. See, just here, this is a decent area. Price cut away, and now price is getting pretty close to it again. You can see up this one here we had a rejection. Let's see what this reacted at. This is probably the child. This is reacting the child. We have this accumulation. Take the whole area. Okay, we'll just take the accumulation candle, the last one. Price traded away. We move back up into the area. Of course, we're expecting price to go deeper, at least as high as the deepest retracement. Price went exactly to it, and this is where it found an interest in selling because prices are pretty high, a good price to start to sell. Okay, and so above that, we move to the high. Let me remove this. Yes, you move to the high here, and this is where the selling occurred last time. So how about beginning to sell? Let's have a look at this area. Around here. So you can see here that price went up, we left, we moved back, so the slingshot was being pulled back, and then it left. What does that mean? Well, that means that we have from around the highest high, the highest pullback prior to the release, we have selling. So now you can go like this, something like that. Let's see if we can do this. We'll move this up to the highs, and then we'll go to smaller time frame. Hopefully I've got data. Yeah, I mean, here you can see it pretty clearly. This is beautiful. You can see how price went up and then we left, and price moved up and then it left. Let's see if we can go to smaller time frame yet. Go to 5 minute, that'd be magic. Yes, we can see that. Okay, cool. And you can see here we have our price went up and we drifted lower. We pull back to the area of, you see this accumulation candle here? We have a few accumulation. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fine, so this kind of goes from around here to here. This is where it started, and price is kind of like feeding into the area there for a while, and then finally it cut away. Boom. So if price left this quickly, at this level, maybe it's going to fall even faster from a different level. And if you look on this time frame, well, where is the sell zone actually starting? And you can see that you could probably move this even higher. You can see that we actually have this area here. You have a kind of a bearish engulfing pattern, and this is above the highs of the most recent pullback. Okay, so you could have a really nice stop here, 20 pips into black space, like uncharted waters, then price will likely depart from there pretty quickly. Yeah, let's have a look on this time frame, see what it looks like. Now you can see the area, what it looks like there, pretty far up into the wick. So you have to do the analysis of these wicks because they're really interesting. And notice, isn't that funny, that this is where price reacted in this little price nodule. Historically, look where it came back to, wick, wick. So you see how all this stuff kind of ties together. Can you see this? It's really, really interesting. Good. So this is a really nice departure. So have a look in here from around the I can't see really well. So from around the 3268 area and above, we're probably going to have some bounces. So keep an eye on that. Okay, let's have a look at another one. Let's have a look at this one. The American dollar, Japanese yen. And so what's driving price? Well, have a look. You can see the origin of some really strong moves. Here we have one. Here we have one. Strong, strong. Price came back. We found liquidity to push price higher. We returned to this daily area here once, twice, and now price kind of left. Now price is kind of moving higher. Okay, back again. See, now you can see, and this is where price reacted at. How we have price left. This is, price went up, and the swing that happened prior to the move lower originated from here. And look where it went to. Price moved up, we went down, we pulled back to the edge, and then it left here. So, look at this. It's like, this is craziness. And if you look a little bit higher, the next area the price will likely react at is this one. This is a really nice area right there. And it's a tiny little thing. And what about above that? Well, above that, we have this one here. So these are tiny little micro areas of supply. We'll delete that. Now we'll go out to the bigger time frame. We'll go to maybe the 4 hour. And think, okay, well, where's price going to go next time? Now we have a really good idea, don't we? Because we can see here that if we just move this like that, and this like that, we can see that price is probably going to move into this area and find a lot of buying, selling pressure. And if it manages to move through that, it's going to go up to this one here. And why? It's because you can see those small telltale signs of the way liquidity is distributed at these areas, and these little moves at the peaks and the valleys of these. We have like the peaks, of the market landscape. We have the valleys of the market landscape. If you look at where price moves back, you have something like this. Price moves back. You want to start to look above this, and you go and you say, okay, I want to start looking in this price action here for little pieces of information, little nuggets of gold that we managed to zoom in on in this little price structure here, and you'll find them all the way back here. And eventually price will come up like this, and it'll poke up here, and it'll react. It'll poke up here, so it's done this one, and it's going to do this one, and this one, and then it'll react. And eventually it'll find so much selling pressure that it'll find its turning point, and it'll move up here, and it'll be such a high price, a lot of selling is going to occur, and this is where this new trend to move lower will start. And it's typically happening around the peaks of these big moves. So you have like a strong move higher, price moves sideways, and we start to dump off. Price retraces to the beginning of like the sell zones, then they leave, and this is where price is going to return to here. And you'll see these little pullbacks in this little leg down all the time, because they'll look like this. Okay, on the macro level, microstructure. You can see it here, another one here, another one here, another one here, and price will react at almost all of them. It's fascinating. And so when you find these huge areas of supply and demand on the 4 hour, the hourly, or the 4 hour, whatever, make sure that you go to tiny time frames to refine them, okay? And then you will find out where price is going to react. We'll do that now on this one here, okay? So you have to find an origin of a really strong move. And we have, let's do this one here. So we have this one. This is really nice how price went up, we pulled back, and we left. So we have, what is this? This is like a V, like a valley, like we saw, okay? So we need to look at this on a small time frame. We'll go to a 5-minute chart. We'll start moving backwards until we find our rectangle, which we have right here. We have to study. Okay, we want to see beginning. This is where price returned to, just here, okay? So price came down, moved sideways for a while, and then we left. This is where price returned to. This is a 98.05 area. We're probably going to get a bounce here when price comes back in the future. Mark off the lows, and then look left. Where do we have another one? We have another one here. We have anything else down here? We have a little one here. See, there's nothing here. It's rubbish. There's nothing here to look at. This is good because price, we kind of rally, accumulate, we cut away. Okay, this is also, this one is lower than the one we saw over here. So start to look here and lower. And this one here we have, this is the beginning of this of the buy zone here, okay? Because price moved up, we pull back the slingshot, and it shot up. Pull back the slingshot, we shot up. What about below here? There's nothing really here. We actually have something here. I don't like this. Why? Okay, let's argue that this is the area that we want to trade. But notice the price has already been back to this area here, here, and here, and here. So this is not very interesting to us. So what do? You mark off the low, delete this so we don't consider, oops. I gotta leave that one there, it's nice. Oh, come on. Boom. Delete those, and we move left. Have a look and see, testing, eating liquidity, want to go lower. Keep moving, keep scrolling. And if our broker gives us enough data, which we don't have, bugger. Okay, back again. Have a look. This is where the pullback occurred to. It pulled back to this. The one just below, pull back to this, so it reacted to this child. And this one here, which is the all-time low since here, pull back to this, just here. So you got this one. This is the one there. Is there anything below price? No, nothing there that's interesting. There's nothing in here that's interesting. There's no real pushes. This is not pretty. We had to pull back to here, but there's not a nice release. Price pull back to here, but you see it's kind of pulled back 2 times, once, twice. So I don't like this one. So what we need to do is we need to look here and then keep scrolling to see if we can find. First of all, we need to find the price level. That is the 95.42. Okay, I didn't have enough 15-minute or 5 minutes, so I have 30-minute data, and this is where that previous bounce occurred. It happened just here. So price came down, and this is the pullback. Let me zoom in. See, price came down, we left. This is good. Price pulled back, the slingshot was pulled back, and then it left. This is very close to this candle here. This is the pullback, telling us where the beginning of the buy zone is. Okay. Anyway, I think I'll leave it at that. This video is meant to help you identify the beginning of the buys and the sell zones, because you can be on. Let's just clear all this off. Let's go to the 4-hour chart or the 1-hour chart. You see these and you say, oh wow, we've got areas everywhere. And while it may look like we do have areas everywhere, you don't. If you look at this one here, I mean, yes, we have a really nice release, but would you buy there when you can see all of this in front of it? No, it's really not a good idea. So what do? You've got to look for the slingshot, and we have it right there. Okay, so this is a better area to buy at, because price managed to kind of pull back here and drift high. And even this area is questionable. Why? Because price didn't really leave. It just kind of like sat around on the area for a while. What does that mean? That means look lower. So if we do that on this one, we have it here. You can see, look at that, there's nothing there. This is reacting to this. The only fresh area that we have is here. Boom, like that. Okay, so right there would be an interesting area to look to buy. Okay, so this is also, and you can see this like for scalping opportunities as well. Sorry that my headphones were hanging off my head there. This is kind of the beginning of the area, because price has already pulled back here, and last time it came down to this level it left quickly. Price has not been back here since. You can mark this off. You go back to the 1 hour. You can see, I mean, where are we? I mean, we're right here. This is like the very edge of that area. Okay, price came down, pulled back, and then it left. So this is an area that you could look to begin to buy. This one is not interesting because why? Because price has done this. Price will easily move through this and start to begin to look lower. Okay, and you can do these on all time frame. You do it on the 5 minute and the 1 minute. It doesn't really matter. You can do it on any time frame you like. If you look at this one here, just for the sake of example, you look at the origin of a strong move. We have that here, really strong move. So this is the origin of the strong move. Let's just mark off here. Go to the 1 minute. Let's have a look, see if we can find it. Okay, so this is the origin of that strong move. And look at it. It's already been back here and here. So you wouldn't want to start to buy until you get a little bit lower. Okay, and this stuff is, even if you move your entry from up here where it would have been to down here, you're getting a better entry. Okay. Okay, good. Well, I think I'm going to leave it at that. If you have any questions, please post them in the forum. And I hope you found this video interesting. If you have any questions, please post them in the, as I mentioned, the forum or in the comments below this video, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Thanks very much for watching.